All right, good morning, good people. We are going to have a look at the final project in the Introduction to AutoCAD class. This is going to be a series of videos to help you get oriented and to give you the techniques and the knowledge that you need to get the final project done. The final project is a architectural drawing, and we haven't done an architectural drawing yet. So we need to talk a little bit about setting up a drawing environment for an architectural drawing because it is different than an engineering drawing. Okay. So the first thing I'm going to do is talk a little bit about setting up the drawing. Okay. And then we'll talk about the architectural project itself, and I'll get you started on that, and we'll talk about how that's going to go. So in this first video here, we're just going to talk about setting up the drawing space. But let me say this. The architectural drawing that you're going to do, you can either start it with the architectural template, the MVCC architectural template, which I will put on Canvas. It's probably already there, but so you can start with the architectural template. The architectural template is going to have the layers that you need, the dimension and text style that you need. Okay, so it's going to be already pre-set up. What I'm going to show you is another way to do it using a different template, and in fact we'll use the MVCC mechanical inch template. And the reason why I want to show you that method is because you will need to create layers, text style, and dimension style, and some of you may want that practice to do that yourself, and so that you can leave class with at least having done that for one drawing. Um, so I'm going to do it the hard way, essentially. The easy way, of course, is just to start with the architectural template, and where everything is set up for you. And when we in the later videos, when we talk about when I show you how to do the actual architectural drawing, I'll talk about both ways, and how you can use that depending on which way that you're going. Okay, so that being said, let's look at what we need to do for our architectural um, drawings. Okay, so generally there's four basic things that you need to make sure are set, or um, are ready to go in your architectural drawing. Okay, and since these are settings that are normally or would normally be in a template, okay, so you don't have to do it over and over and over again, so it kind of standardizes it. But in the case that you are starting a drawing and you don't have an architectural template, then these are the four things that you really need to create so that you can accurately draw an architectural drawing according to the AIA standards. Okay, these four things are: we need to set our units up to architectural, we need to create layers, and the 5 layers I'm showing you here, the walls, doors, windows, porch, and stairs layers, these are not technically according to the standard for the AIA architectural drawings. The actual layers are found in the architectural template. And then also a text style and an annotative dimension style. The dimension style is different in an architectural drawing, and you can see in the blueprint that you're recreating that the dimensions look different in a number of different ways. So we're going to talk about creating all that. So, all right, so let's get started. So remember, all this is already set if you use the architectural template. Okay. All right. So let me pull this to the side, and then let's get started. And I'm going to start with the mechanical inch. Now, first thing we want to do is we want to set our units. Now, the units are the way that we interact with AutoCAD when we put in numbers. Okay, so when we're drawing a line, and let me show you this. When we draw a line, right, and we want to draw a line that is, let's say, 7 inches long, and you've been doing this all class, notice that the number up there, 5.479, it's highlighted in blue. If I type in 7 and I hit enter, it draws a line that is 7 units long. Now, technically speaking, AutoCAD doesn't know millimeters from inches. It deals in units, so this was 7 units long, right, that I just drew. But there are different scaling factors that help us to draw in millimeters or inches, and this was, you know, in the proportion of an inch drawing. The units, the actual units, inches, millimeters, whatever, really comes into play when we go to print a drawing, because this is where we say, hey, the thing that I drew, I want it to be 10 inches long, or 6 inches long, or 25 millimeters long. Okay, when we are actually ready to print the drawing, that's when we have to scale it accordingly. And what happens is we assign our units of our drawing to be, you know, whatever we want it to be. So this, I drew it as 7. That was understood to be 7 inches because this is the inch template. But in the architectural world, we don't deal in inches, at least solely in inches. Oftentimes, we're dealing in feet and inches. And also, we don't deal in decimal for architectural drawings. A lot of times, we're still using fractional units. So this kind of unit scheme is not what we are typically going to be working with an architectural drawing. So we have to change this. All right. Now let me note here, this has nothing to do with your dimensioning units. All right. That when we put dimensions on a drawing, it's different than what I'm talking about right now. Okay. So let's type in the units command, units. And this opens up our drawing units dialog box. Okay. The drawing units dialog box is what controls how numbers are entered in AutoCAD. Again, this has nothing to do with dimension units or how our dimensions appear. This is just for entering and displaying numbers when we're drawing. Okay, and you'll see that right now this is set to decimal, right? And it's set to 3 decimal places of accuracy, right? If I change this, click on this, I can choose an architectural unit. Notice that I have 5 other types: engineering, fractional, and scientific. But we have an architectural type of unit, and we click on that, and notice here it gives us a feet with a single apostrophe, inches with fractions. Okay. Now I know that the drawing that we're going to be recreating, the architectural drawing, does not have any units below a 1/2 inch. So I'm going to go ahead and set my precision at a 1/2 inch because I know I'm not going to have to draw anything less than a 1/2 of an inch. All right. So, and we're just going to leave the angle alone. There's no angles in our drawings, and you know, if we need to change that, we could change that. But oftentimes in architectural, decimal degrees is what you're using. We could also choose degrees, minutes, seconds, gradients, radians, surveyor's units, any of that, but we're going to leave it right there. Okay, so we got our architectural units set, and I'm going to say okay. Now, how does that change our drawing? Well, let's look. So remember, this was 7 units long, or 7 inches. Okay. Now, if I want to draw another line that is 7 inches long, notice what shows up in the blue box for my length area on my line. 7 with a double apostrophe. Okay. Now, so in order to draw a line that is just using the units of inches, I can type in 7 apostrophe, or excuse me, 7 with the double quote marks, and hit enter. And there we go. All right. Now, really, we don't even need to enter the double quotes. 7, enter, and we get that there. Okay. Now, what about 7 feet? How do we draw a line that's 7 feet long? Well, let's go back here. Whoops. So 7 feet, we need to enter 7 apostrophe. All right. Now notice I'm not putting 0 inches. I just want to draw 7 feet. All right. So 7, single apostrophe, hit enter, and there we go. Now I need to zoom out again, so I'm just going to do a Z space E space to do a zoom extents, and there we go. And you can clearly see that this line is longer than these, right? And if I hover over this, it sure enough tells me the distance is 7 with an apostrophe, 7 feet. Okay, so if I want to draw a line with feet, I need to include the apostrophe. If I want to draw a line with inches only, I do not need to include a double apostrophe. I can just put in 7 or 10 or whatever I want to. How about drawing a line with inches and feet? All right, so let's zoom out here. I'll draw this one a little bit shorter. All right, so let's draw a line right here. And how about we draw this 3'6"? All right, so here we go. 3 apostrophe for the feet. Now, what do I do with the 6? How do I enter the 6? There's a couple of options here. The easiest option is just to type in 6. So 3 apostrophe 6. No space, no double quotes. Enter. And there we go. Okay. Now, another option, we can do 3 apostrophe dash 6. Okay. Now, the dash is important. A space, remember, a space means the enter key. So if we do 3 apostrophe space 6, it's going to enter the 3 apostrophe because it's going to take that enter space bar as an enter. So we have to use the dash. 3 apostrophe dash 6. Yep. Couple more options. 3 apostrophe dash 6 double quotes. Yeah, you can do that. I don't know why you would want to type more, but you can do that. Or we could do 3 apostrophe 6 double quotes. Okay, so that's 4 ways to draw a mixed unit line with feet and inches. We can just type in the 3 apostrophe 6. We can type in 3 apostrophe dash 6, 3 apostrophe dash 6 double apostrophe, or 3 apostrophe 6 double apostrophe. I think it's clear to see if you're counting keystrokes, the first option is the best. 3 apostrophe 6. Okay, so those are your 4 methods there. Now let's look at the last case. So what if we want to draw a line that has feet in it and inches and fractions? Okay, so let's draw a line that is 2 foot 6.5. 2 foot 6.5 inches. All right, so we go like this. How do we do this? So let's see, 2 feet, okay, 6. Now, how are we going to do a half? All right, well, here's a good thing to know. Decimals still work, right? So 2 foot 6.5, I could type in 2 foot 6.5. Perfect. All right. Or I could do 2 foot 6. Now, how am I going to get the half in there? If I do a space, we know that that's going to enter that. So I don't want to put a space in there because that'll just enter the command and I won't have the half in there. So if I can't do a space, what could I do? I could do a dash 1, 2, 1/2. Okay. Do I need the double quotes? No. All right. So let's do that. Yep. Okay. Let's look at this again. So we can go 2 foot 6. Can I do just a 1/2 without the dash? No, because AutoCAD would interpret that as 2 foot 61 over 2. Okay, so really we can't do that. Dash 1/2. We could, of course, do the longer ways. We could do 2 foot 2'-6' 1/2. Again, I don't know why you would do this. This seems like a lot of typing. I don't know. Some of you may like to type. I don't like to type. So 2 foot, what's the easiest way to do it? 2 foot, and then the inches, 6, dash, and then the fractions, 3/4 or 7/8. Okay, and then there we go. Now notice here that I'm putting in fractions that are less than or more than 1/2 inch, right? And my precision was set at 1/2, right? That's still fine, right? Notice what it does on the when I look at the distance though. It only displays to a 1/2 inch precision. So what happened? I put in 2 foot 6 7/8, and it displays a rounded number, 2 foot 7 inches. Now this is important. The line is drawn completely accurately. It's just this number display on my distance that is basically it's rounding up. Okay, the line was drawn completely accurately. Okay, so that's a good thing to know. All right. Now, as I said, in the architectural drawing that you're going to be creating, there is no dimension less than a 1/2 inch, so you'll never run into this. But if you don't like that, if you want more precision, you're certainly welcome to go back to units and set this at 1/8 of an inch or a 1/16 or whatever you want to. Right. I'm just saying that for our drawing, 1/2 inch is the most precision that we need right there. Okay, so that is the units command, okay, in AutoCAD. It's required when you're doing a feet and inches drawing, such as an architectural drawing. And those are the different ways that you can enter the values, okay? You always need the apostrophe to identify the feet. And then the inches, you don't need the double quotes. And you separate the fractions from the inch with a dash, okay? So in my next video, I'll look at putting up creating the different layers, and then we'll get into textile and dimension style. Okay.